Let's pray. Lord, we thank you very much. We bless your name. We pray this evening, oh God, that Spirit divine lead us. We don't want our young ones to make mistakes. We want our young ones to move into the things of love with you, Jesus. So our Lord and Master, lead us and speak to us. In Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen.
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 Thank you very much. Last week, my heart desire was that Christians should look at this area very well so that we don't err. Let me share the video some at least see my face for just some 2 minutes at least. So my focus last week was to look at the issue of divorce, which to me had become a bit rampant because from the facts, it's alarming, and we don't have to make some of these mistakes. We don't want to make them so that we really enjoy our marriage lives. And today, I want to begin by saying that God is pleased when we do the right thing. And marriage, its institution was ordained by God. So God is a pillar behind marriage. And therefore, if we do things right, if we relate right, relationships right, God himself will bless the marriage and give you all that it entails. So we should not make those mistakes. I will share my screen and then we shall continue from where we ended last week. I think last week we ended with a survey and we look at what men want in a woman. If I'm right, that's where we ended last week. So maybe I can be made a co-host so that I can share my screen now. And then yeah. Is it being shared or something?
We can see.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yes, we can see.
That's good. Yes, I last week my ending part was on what men wants in a woman, and then we all agreed on this fact that men wants, or he wants a woman of moral virtue, which is right. Every man wants someone with a sense of humor, which we discussed last week, and then we said a man wants a woman with intelligence. So it's not only about making up, dressing up, and going up. Marriage is work. I have to emphasize this evening that marriage is work. And if it is work, we need people with brains to help do the work. So in the initial stage of relationship, it looks so interesting. I mean, you love someone. Today at church, an old minister was sharing his story about when he met the wife. Then he was in a Bible school. You come from Bible school, come to Accra, go to a Carnation or so, just to see the woman. And one time he went and it was curfew time, those 83 time, those violence regime. And he has to run. And he had the confidence that because he has seen the wife or the to-be wife, I mean, he had that joy. He didn't even mind the curfew, whether the military will arrest him or not. So that early stages looks very interesting. And to all the married people here, they were attest. Those times when we had Vodafone free calls, you call your woman, you can talk for about 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, when we were on campus, I was calling relationship phonology because those times, I mean, from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. was free night call.
Our course.
Yes, phonology. Those times was free from 11. So we go to learn very early from 8 o'clock. We learn till 10 o'clock. Then 11 o'clock, we shift to phonology. You call someone, you chat, and I mean, those are interesting times, and they are good. You can call the other papas and mamas here, they will share their experience. Papa Phil will share his experience, Papa Godfred will share his experience. I mean, it's so nice. But all those funny moments or those nice ones we were doing were things that were building up. Marriage itself is work, and everybody must know this. That in marriage, we don't bring laziness into marriage. I don't want to go into marriage deeper, but for now, I want us to look at this, that men want someone who can be trusted, totally trust, and it's important, and someone who is honest. And as I was saying last time, I box all these terms: trust, honest, virtue. I box them into the word integrity, people with integrity. So I was saying that the old phenomenon or theory we knew, and we're saying if someone is morally, spiritually, physically, financially sound, he's enough for marriage. I have seen men and women with all these attributes, financially, physically, morally, and they marry, and some of them even break up. So I was saying that that alone is not enough. Develop yourself more in God. To me, if you want to bring a man to me, and I encourage all the young ones here, if you see a lady on the page or somewhere, or you see a guy proposing to you, telling you so many stories, and you think you have seen all the things you want to see, bring them to us. Let us interview them. Don't feel shy. It's free consultation. We'll not charge anything. We want the best for you. We want the best for our young ladies and our young men. So if you find someone and you think it's fine, bring the person. Feel free. Just book an appointment. We can have an online meeting, because there are things we have to be sure that the people we're talking about, they have them. Because we want as much as possible. We want a group to enter into marriages, people in the group, and we have divorce free, because we are living examples. People are looking at us, and it's like, if they are even doing this, how much more of those in the world? So we need to be, I mean, it's free. Just feel free, call me, and let's talk about relationship. Let's talk. If you find someone telling you so many stories, trying to yab you, win your heart, and you think it's fine, let me know. Let's talk. If you're shy of me, then can call Sophie or Pastor Godfred. But I think among them, I'm cool. You can call me rather.
True. You're cool.
I'm cool with them. Yeah.
You are chilled.
But there is something I didn't mention about, but this is where Pastor Godfred will pick up from. For men, every man wants sex. For that one, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Sexual fulfillment. I mean, men want sex, but I'm talking before marriage. So that's why I made a sign on it. It's not for pre-marriage. It's not for the relationship. For the things a man wants to see in a woman, you want to see a woman who can be a playmate. You will laugh. You're alone, not a woman. You are at home, and I mean, you've all frown, and the whole day you can't touch each other. It should be more like playmates, your friend. You develop a relationship to a level where it becomes friends. You want someone who is beautiful. A woman must dress well. Some women, when they have a child or two, wow, forget about those things. But I mean, before you don't have children, look good, look beautiful. I mean, dress modestly, and it's important. And also someone who can keep home, and someone you can admire. I mean, people, you can say, oh, this is my wife, and people in the community and everybody knows that this is a woman who is being admired by a lot of people in the area. So these are the things men want to see. But as for the one is sex. I'll go will talk about sex next week. I think he's boiled up for sex. Talk. So God willing, we will come there. But we're talking about sex in the context of marriage, not pre-marriage. That's sex. We want people who keep themselves, who will be pure, and who will marry, and God's glory will be in their marriage. If you read if you read Ephesians, let me come to Ephesians first. Ephesians will also advise us, and I want us to look at these verses today before I continue with Ephesians 5 from verse 3. Ephesians 5 from verse 3. Bible says that, but fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness let it not even be mentioned among you, as is fitting for saints. Amen. So if we're talking about relationship where you find qualities in people and you want to build up that friendship to have friendship level, which can lead to marriage, as some may call dating, courtship, and all those terms, fornication should not be mentioned among the Christians. We are Christians. It should not be mentioned. The Bible says it should not be mentioned. It should not be mentioned among us. It should not be mentioned among us. That's the verse 5, verse 3. Yeah, verse 3. By fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be even be named among you. The word is even, not even. So we have to grow in Christ. You admire people is not wrong. You said a lady among the group for quite too long in your class, in your church, anywhere. It's not wrong. You propose, it's not wrong. A man is seeking. As I was saying last week, men are meant to seek. That's why in a group of ladies or passing by, guys will look at the ladies and some will even fall in gutters. It's normal. That's how the men were made. They were made to look at things. But the women don't mind those things. They are supposed to be sought for. So in your relationship, as in I found someone, we are dating, we want to know each other, we want to go forward, let fornication not be mentioned amongst you. So the first point is for when you marry. That is for that one, every man wants it. Every man, even our pastors want it. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so today, I want to look at what the women also want to see in a man. And I move my slide backward. Yes, okay. Let me share it. Let me, okay. So what women wants in a man, and I think if you ask every lady on this page, everywhere, if you ask them what's the first quality they want to see in someone they can date or they can marry, they'll tell you, I want a godly man. And some even go deeper and say, I want a man who fears the Lord. So it's important. So what women wants in a man, we want men who fears God, who are godly. And then in the next one is women wants men who are romantic. Romantic. In the women context, when let's say both have seen parents and parents are aware that they are going out. Women wants a man who is romantic. Who can use sweet words. You're looking beautiful. Who can hold her hand even in public. In traffic, you hold her, you cross. They want such things. Women wants those things, right? So whether you are a prayer engine room machine here, or these things should be part of our lifestyle. And also they want people with sense of humor. People you can laugh with, you can share secrets, you can play, all those things. And the fourth point is communication. You can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And you talk about everything. Not people that will share. There are some people, their husbands and their wives don't even know how much they receive at the end of the month. There are women whose husbands are not aware, they don't know how much they receive at the end of the month. There are men whose wives don't know how much they receive at the end of the month. Communication. Communication means that we talk and we know everything. I remember one time in my office, a lady left her pay slip on her bed at home. She was going through her pay slip, and by mistakenly, she left the pay slip at home and came to work. That day, she couldn't work. She was so much worried about the whole issue, all because she has told the husband how much she receives, and it's not true. She receives more than that. So by all means, the husband will find the payslip and will look at the payslip and then know how much she receives. So we want to communicate people with who are honest about. I mean, being honest means you're honest. I mean, being objective about things, not because it's close to you, you want to defend, even if it is wrong. You want to bring in scriptures to quote and those honest. That is what women want to see in a man. And the sixth point is because relationships leads to marriages, or it will lead to marriage. A woman wants to see at least a man who provides for the home, who is responsible and will be able to provide for the home, take care of the children, help in all those things, and it goes on. I heard about a story, I think on Friday or so, about a couple, they married. The man was not working. The woman has to work and work and work. And at the end of the day, the man has to sell the cars, the land, everything without the approval of the woman. I mean, we don't want such men. A man should be responsible. A man should be willing to provide to keep the house. Men are meant to work. Men are meant to work from the Garden of Eden till the land. I mean, we are meant to work. So a man must have in at the mind of the man that I am born to work and not to lazy around. So we want to see that in a man. And you see, people at times define unemployment as let's say working in a more of a corporate institution. Work means work. People are into other businesses. People are into sewing. They're into other things which are not known like more of as official white man's job. They are doing their own business. They are doing some. They are moving up and down just to make ends meet. They are working. So women want to see you doing something. And also someone who's a family man, willing to take care of the children, help at home. I mean, has to keep the family. And every man is meant to lead. So my ninth point is leadership. It should be seen, not a man at home and the woman does everything, even to decide on how to pay bills and all this is a woman. I mean, women don't want that. They want to see men who are responsible, who are leading, and also who are respectful, respect for the woman. I mean, women love to be respected. So you have to understand them, respect their opinions, share with. I mean, women, and when you respect your wife or you respect your woman, they are charged to do more. Women can do more things. Someone will say they can do you and they can undo you. And even in ministry, most ministers who have risen to the top is their wives or the women who help them to rise to the top. And the same way, most are software and those things who have fallen below standards is the same women who pull them down. So let's be very careful with each other and also faithfulness. So these are what in a survey done, most women came out with that they want to see this. Most women came out with they want to see this in a man. A man who provide, a family man, is respectful, has leadership qualities, is faithful, God-fearing, number one, romance, sense of humor, communication, and honesty. Honestly, if you're a guy here, you can ask our ladies on the page after this lecture. They will tell you it is true. This is what they want to see in a man. So a man, if you're building your life, you have to skew towards these qualities too. I mean, there are people who are praying in the church, very spiritual, Bible reading, but look, they don't have any sense of romance. They cannot, they don't even laugh. I mean, and you want to marry someone's daughter, I mean, it doesn't work that way. So this are also about women, and let's develop them. Okay, so we've done this already last week. That's what men wants in a woman. And then we'll look at some tips about dating. And in this context, dating and the word courtship may be interchangeably. I mean, don't worry about it. They're just terms. But the understanding is that what I mean by this is that I have found somebody, I want to walk along with the person, and then that will lead to marriage. This is what we want to look at in this context. So single Christians pleasing and glorifying Jesus needs not to be distracted by or led astray by the world's view when it comes to finding a helpmate. I think most people are using definitions from the world's view, how people really do their things, especially now movies, those watching the Kumkum Bagiers and the way they fell in love and all those things. Those are worldly views, right? We are Christians. We must set a standard and then we must move by the standard. And if these foundations are not solid, it leads to so many things. Yesterday, we have to intervene at a place. I know a pastor's wife whose rings and Bible are ready today, ready, waiting for divorce. I mean, this is a pastor's wife who has put down his rings and his Bible, has called parents and those who stood in the marriage. And if they meet today, she's willing to give out the ring and a Bible. And that is, they are divorcing. I mean, that's the end of the marriage. Some of them made errors, and we don't want you to make such errors. We don't want you to make such mistakes. We want you to build up your relational life well, marry and enjoy your marriage. Amen. So one should ask for much grace, wisdom, and patience to meet another single godly person of the opposite sex. You know, Laban in the Bible worked for Rahel. He worked so much that because of love, Laban didn't even know that it was that far. I mean, the time was that far. For 7 years, so 7 years, he worked up and down. But he didn't even realize it for 7 years, just because of love. So love can be a crazy thing, but love should help us to wait patiently on the Lord. So one should ask so much grace. We need the grace of God, we need wisdom, and we need patience to meet another godly single person of the opposite sex. And most of you are much fortunate. I mean, I love the campus life a lot. When we come around to Fanet, I think I've been with UPS some time ago, UG, and the way we see you together, some are eating together, you know, this. Yes, they are a good way to build up friendship, but we need grace of God. We need the wisdom of God. We need patience to build up the friendship before we move on. So a love for Jesus and a desire to live in accordance to God's will must be number one from the get-on. A love for Jesus and the desire to live in accordance to God's will and God's word must be number one from the get-on. Yes, people come your way, people are proposing, people you think, or all those things. At times, to me, I think they're part of life. I mean, at times you may love somebody, especially with the guys. You know you're falling in love, but maybe you can't propose, and somebody may come and cross you and walk away, and they are campus stories. They go on, but hey, in all these things, we need the wisdom of God. We need the grace. We need patience, and we need the love to move in accordance with God's will and His word, even in a relationship, so that it does not sway us off. Amen. Okay, so I have some few tips, and we'll look at some of these tips a bit in detailed. I think last week I mentioned them alongside, but we'll look at them detailed. At times, it amazes me that you really see Christians who may even want to go in for people of other religions and people of other faiths which are not what they believe in, all because of love. The Bible says that can two work together unless they agree. So where are we agreeing? Are we agreeing on our basic faith doctrine on all those things? They are important. Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Let's be very careful. Just because we are in love, so we want to follow our heart. Yes, I have to follow, a man must follow his heart. And then you may end up somewhere, and you may not be able to come back. And even especially our ladies. You know, in a marriage framework, the men are the head. Yesterday, I went to one for evangelism. I met one member of our church, a lady, and the husband had just given her a simple rule. The husband says, even though I don't attend your church, I attend a similar church. But if you faithfully go to church continually for about a month or two, I will follow you to the church. And the woman was laughing because she comes today and comes back next 3 weeks, and comes one in next month, and comes back. You understand all those facts. So if you don't have people with whom you equally share or agree on things, it's difficult. Do not be equally you together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness, and what communion has light with darkness? Let's watch out. Let's look at our circles. Let's narrow it down to the believers, the people of the faith, and let's pray that God leads us to someone among them. Amen.
Amen.
A single man and a woman must also be purposeful from the onset. And then there are some compelling questions. What is my motive in doing this? In a relationship, what's your motive? I remember back on campus, people would just laugh at us. Hey, so who read school 4-0? Went to me and grab it. Then because we also want to show our powers, sorry. We also go forward and propose and what's the motive? Are you really ready for the relationship? Or because of pressure, or because people are saying you must not leave campus 4-0. So you want to also impress. What's the motive? It's my interest in dating to have fun and be entertained, or is it to glorify God and serve others? People of God, we don't have time to play about things. We don't have time to play about things. I remember one time a lady was telling me she met someone just for 2 or 3 months, and the guy was calling her, I have missed you. Can we meet in a hotel? Can I say, I just told her, look, at your age, you don't have time for those things. So your age, your time is that somebody comes forward. If he's interested, he comes home and take a list of items. If he's interested, he comes home and marry you. We don't have time for those fun. Those things we see on TV, they are funny things. The reality is what I'm telling you, we don't have time. We want to go into a relationship where we can still glorify our God, where even if it breaks up, we'll not die of broken hearts, but we can rise up and move on and do our work for Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
So you date with purpose. The first one was you date with prayers. We date with prayers. You pray about it. You take it seriously and pray into it. Then you also you date with purpose. Purpose is that I want to build up this relationship. And if God helps us, we marry. It's purpose. If you are dating somebody and within 2-3 months, you are having sex, my sister, you are on the wrong path. It will not lead you anywhere. For sex will come there, but pre-sexual intercourse has its own effects, and we should be very careful about that. If somebody proposes to you and then the next day he's trying to make some demands and let's meet here, you see you are beautiful, you are this, let me hold you, let me hide, let me do this for you, my brother. We don't have time for those things. We are serious people and we want to live for Jesus Christ. Amen. So we deal with purity. Being passionate for purity must be the hallmark of any courtship between a Christian man and a woman. Purity is important. But this is where the enemy comes in with so many things just to bring you down. So we have to be very careful. When we find someone, we have to love and be patient. And at the right time, when God blesses you and it leads to marriage, you enjoy the marriage. Everybody who kept himself or herself and waited on the Lord with this fast and married is enjoying marriage. And we want you to enjoy your marriage. Establishing good physical and emotional boundaries will help both parties maintain the utmost level of purity. It's important that if you're in a relationship, you set good physical and emotional boundaries. It's important. There are some, I don't want to go there. In 1 Timothy 5:2, it says, instruct men to treat single women as sisters in Christ with absolute purity. I remember one time on the campus. I mean, campus, we are doing evangelism, we are reading souls for Christ, we are moving up and down, we are helping our sisters. One time during an awards day, I had dressed to the awards room. I mean, they came around, took pictures of us and everything. And I went for the awards day. I was there. And then they had a projection of a title. Then that was the best Alaji worker on campus. So we're making fun of ourselves. Hey, Alaji worker, we jamba no kwansa, wa shemba no suye, wa boy jumana, mama ye, we're laughing. And then among the participants on the projector, on the screen, sorry, my name was mentioned. I'm like, hey, assignment at 2 minutes. Then, hold and behold, the award winner was me. My name was, and the whole hall, they stood up and they were clapping. I was like, Alaji Worker of the Year. What does it mean? It means that I have helped people on campus. I never took advantage of any one of them. They saw what I was doing. I was coaching the first year, second years. I was moving up and down, learning with them, moving them to GAFES, to AGCM and everything. So at least, even though the title looked something, and I won it, I showed that that is how the young men should treat the ladies. People come to first year, they are so naive about everything. It's not right thing to take advantage of them because they are naive, but it's right to treat them as sisters in Christ. Absolutely. I remember one time I was trying to cook jollof. I didn't have enough stew. So I bought Kobe and boiled the Kobe among the stew, and the saltiness entered the stew. Then I put in the rice and I was stirring. Before I realized it has become Kobe jollof. And there were ladies who came around, they were hungry. I had to feed them with what I had. To me, it was not the best food, but they also ate and they were praising me. Oh, well, they had the pan. Kobe jollof, where they had the pan, yeah, that's it. And we all ate together. I mean, let's treat each other. The ladies treat your young guys as your brothers. The guys treat them as your sisters. And hold on, if one of them is yours, at the right time, she become yours. But let's not take advantage of them. King Solomon said something, said, do not arouse or awaken love until so desires. If you look at the men and the women chemistry, I mean, it's more like petrol and fire, the way it burns. That is how the passion is more like. So you don't arouse it. Solomon advised you, do not try it. Maybe sometime in the night and you see a Christian brother and sister trying to escort someone and a good night, the guy wants to hug the lady. What kind of hug is that? Do not arouse or awaken love. And it's all desires. I mean, if on campus and there's no evil at it, and it's daytime and the lady wants to hug you, fine, just go away. But we should not do things touching people and doing it will lead to something else. Meaning before the proper time, marriage, do not. And you see, when you marry, and then you are not awakening this kind of love, it's so enjoyable. Can I those who are married on the page? I mean, it's enfuno. Like someone said, medi banku sa funo me, fufu medi fufu afuno me. Sex in marriage, enfuno ni pakra, enfuno. So keep it well, and then at the right time, you are really it's awakened, and you go on with it. Than to try to look somewhere. Paul, the writer of Ephesians said, do not let it be mentioned among you. Fornication. And now it's like last time I was in the church and many I brought to be a yoba. What kind of life is it? And it's like we are losing track on that. There's no I am no maybe you drive in the night, you see young guys and ladies holding themselves, kissing on the what kind of life are we living? But we are Christians. If you are a Christian and such things are being mentioned of you, please pray and ask for forgiveness. And let the Lord help you to come out of it. Because you are not glorifying God with your bodies. The verse in 1 Corinthians 6. And I want to read 1 Corinthians 6 to all of us here. 1 Corinthians 6 from the verse 18 says, flee sexual immorality. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own? Amen. 20.
Amen.
For you were bought at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. Flee. Remember one time on campus, a lady called me that she's very sick and nobody's visiting her. So I went to visit her. Hey, campus, now, when I went to the room, she was on the bed as if she's very sick. She's trying to die or something. So I went to sat at the end of the bed. Then before I realized somebody who is sick, she had energy to put her head on my thighs. Hey,
Hey, Alaji of the year.
what to me? Ask already with theater me now. And I was like, then her come like, why don't you touch me? Say, my brother, I just got up. I got up. When I was about to open the door, her roommate, who is my classmate, we in the same class, and the same ministry, that for everything, was coming into the room. I was like, God. So if I had not controlled myself, and I also tried to do something, I think my Christian sister in my class would have come in, would have come to see us with this. So please, let's keep it pure. If you love somebody, you have told him or her, you have told her, she has agreed. Keep the friendship pure. You're not married yet. Those kind of let's meet here, let's go here, let's sleep here, let's do this. It's not part of the system. The system needs purity. If you date in prayer, if you date with purpose, if you date in purity, the Lord Himself will bless the marriage in His own time. Amen.
Amen.
One thing I want us to know is that we should go out prepared. I mean, if you have weighed yourself, you think you are morally right, you are morally strong, emotionally, financially, and now you are bearing the fruit of the Spirit. There comes a times in a man's life you know that I need a woman, I need someone to move on with. I mean, don't make it spiritualized. I mean, the feelings are there. There are times in your life you get to that stage. I mean, you're working. You know that you need a woman in your life. You should go as prepared. So I normally ask young ladies and gentlemen in the dilemma about relationship coaching. Are you prepared for the relationship? Are you prepared? I remember one time I asked some young ladies, one of my children in finance, I asked them, "Right now, boy me Papa, me ready you." Fine. That was a good answer. If you're on campus, you are studying and you're not ready, fine. But if you know you are off campus, I mean, when you're school, you are working. That kind of time in life, you need to think about it. Go prepared with the motive. I am ready to date, and if things work well, we will marry. That should be the motive in your dateship or in your courtship era. It should be that I'm ready. If things go well, we'll marry. And therefore, if the person coming your way, you think you're not interested, let him go. I'm not interested. But I'm not. I can't tell him. Let me. If I tell him, he'll be hurt. Let me entertain him a bit. My friend. When the fire catches you, it will burn you. So ask yourself that: am I ready emotionally, psychologically, and prepared for marriage? These are the things you should ask yourself. I think I was telling you that last time I have to stand in for a list for a young man who wants to marry. And the lady, I think, is doing her rotation. It's a degree nurse student. And the guy has finished about a year and they are young and they want to marry. So we have to talk to them, help them out. And yeah, they want to marry. They have agreed they want to marry. Parents were trying to come in and with the view that they are young and they want to marry. We have to educate them and help them to marry. So if you're ready, the basic or gossip game, sorry, is about if things work well, we'll marry. So if things does not also work well, and one time, why we always advise young ones is that when things don't work well, and you know for sure you have not messed up, you know for sure things cannot go on well, maybe due to blood groupings or change of dreams and goals. I have a lawyer friend, a young lady, a lawyer, and I told her, hey, now obiamba, I'm so somebody came, but he says he wants to go and school outside for a number of years, which I can't. So we agreed and then we broke. That is reasonable. That's what they've agreed on. You understand? So if even we break up, we are not attached emotionally, you're not attached anywhere. Someone will say, the Jaya, what they make 10,000, when to Yamamia, and those kind of things. If you were doing the thing right, and even there was a break, you can still go on and become friends, and then you move on with your life. So it's important. And then at this stage, the goal is that at this stage we talk. If you find someone who has agreed to love you and you think we are moving on to the ultimate to be a marriage, yeah, level 400 after service, something, we talk. Let's talk about everything. Talk about the goals. Talk about everything. Ask about everything. Be willing to give answers about ministry, about finance, about career goals, about number of children, all those things. I see so many pastors today, even in our churches, that their wives are not supporting them in any way because their wives are the view that the men didn't tell them that they become pastors. So say when you're from there, and at times it's sudden. But we must talk. We talk about, do you have plans for ministry? Yes, I want to go into ministry. If she can't go, or if she's not a material and she can't cope with you, and that even leads that we give up, we break up. Because to be in ministry and your partner is not supporting you is something. When we were young, I was in Tema and in Tema SU. The chairperson then was a woman, and the husband was not, let's say, a pastor, but the husband was willing to support the woman. We go for SU camps, we have SU meetings, and this woman comes and the husband that drives the woman to the program. The husband go back home, bring all the food we eat, the takeaway bowls, everything. The man will bring them. The man was willing to support the wife, so they were working together. That is what we want to see in ministry, because we may have a frontline minister among the two of you. Maybe your wife sings a lot, sings all over the country, goes everywhere. As a man, you should support your wife to do the ministry. Maybe the man is not a pastor. As a wife, what's your role in the ministry? Do we just kill it because you think I have not been called? There are people who are doing ministry in so many ways. In my district, we began our church last 3 years. This year will be 4 years. When we were 2 or 3 years, they made my wife the whole women's ministry rep in the whole of Pesahome. She handles about 42 churches. She goes to the villages with passion because of the background. I mean, my mother will go to every village. The areas she has gone in the district, I don't know the area. I have not been there before. And sometimes you have to go to a village. You must take a car to a junction, take a motor to cross a hill or a mountain, and you continue. Understand? And people have been in that shoes. They never moved from their branch to any of those areas because the passion was not there. So talk about all those things. Talk about all those things. Talk about ministry. Talk about finances. For women, about the finance, they will propose when we marry and our money comes, we open joint account. But when the money comes, that one will not come to pass. Forget about that. Most women say, oh, when my money comes, we open an account together. For month about times it comes, and that's it. Talk about career goals. It's important. I married. I think when I was about to finish my masters, I got married. So you can see that. And my wife was having her first degree. So I have to encourage her. She now enrolled for master's program. And for the 2 years, I think a year, I just intentionally said I was going to pay all the fees. I was going to pay all the fees just to encourage her to move on. There are times she has to go to campus for some number of weeks. And I have to stay back home and take care of this, our young girls, be with them. Maybe somebody will come, support them, take them to school and all those things. I mean, we are working together. So in that course, we talk. There are some men who say, "Oh, school there, where first year, so you know where they're coming from." And I enrolled on a program from Brazil, and the first year I did a course was good. So the second year I also made her enrolled, and now she's crying. So we have to encourage ourselves as people. And at this time is where we must talk about everything, career goals. Yeah, we love books a lot. Maybe perhaps in some 2 years we all go into academia. We talk about career goals, and then if you look at something that will help each other, you bring to the notice. Even number of children, you can talk about that one. Yes, at times it may not be as you want, or you may not end up as you planned. But it's good to have a plan than not to have a plan. So it is important. So you observe, you look at things, make time to know each other. To the point that when people are talking about your husband or your wife, you know, oh, this one, dear, it's not my wife. First meal was my birthday at church. We have one friend, a nurse. So, she was hugging me. I said, so my wife said, oh, hug me. And then just forget about that. So we must know each other. That even if someone is talking ill about the other person, you know that this one, no, my wife cannot do that. And that's a replicable effect. Now, I'm saying that the replicable effect of what your married life will be is what you see in the courtship period. It will come back with other things. So the things you see early, if you don't like them, talk about them. If they don't change and you think you cannot continue with that one, back out. Because whatever you see in a courtship, it will come back exponent 5 or something. It will come back. Character exhibited will be compounded and return back with interest. So every character you see in the person, I don't mean when someone is trying to pretend, but real courtship, the character you see, you exhibit, will come back compounded and return back with interest. So do not compromise on your value. Do not compromise on your value. Sorry about the spelling. I think it's value, but the spelling is wrong. Don't worry about that. Do not compromise on your value. How you've been made, and the things you have learned in the Bible, and the things you have held, the values you hold. Don't let someone telling you I love you change the whole thing. Now you stop praying, you stop doing this, you don't evangelize again because you're in love. Do not compromise on your values. Hold your values in high esteem. I think we have just about 8 minutes more to end up. I was expecting people to send questions, but nobody sent me a question. It means you
But
are
there's a question
so
from Vanessa.
Yes.
Very important question. So we'd like to hear your reflections on the question.
Yes, I think the last question, right? Or the last
Yes, the disparity between
And before then, I think last week, I think that Reggie also asked a question, but I think you didn't see it. I don't know. She's online. If she can resend the question so that you address that one.
Hey,
I've forgotten the question. Yes, I've forgotten, but she sent one last week. So address Lady Vanessa's own. Vanessa's own first. I think you agree with
I'm seeing what kind of hag is that? That's now. So please, can
Okay,
this
let
be
me
addressed? Okay, come in.
let me read the question. It says that intellectual disparity and relationship. Please, can this be addressed? Intellectual disparity and relationship.
Okay. You see, these are more like chats questions. So at times I may not be privy to the background, but I will just come in as to how I understand with the help of the Lord, so that at least we will understand what, at least give some good answers to what she meant. She's talking about great difference. I mean, can this be addressed? Intellectual disparity in relationship. It can be addressed. I mean, you as I was saying, I use the word narrow the friendship, right? And when you do a bit of narrow navigation, as in popular terms, you may at times find people at least who understand how you understand things to a level, not as in everything. So we look at that aspect, and it's important. But for someone who does not understand anything about your field, as in what you've studied, what you are doing, and everything, it will create a lot of problems because the person will not understand you. You are an embodiment with your intellectuals, so they're part of you. So at least somebody who understands a bit. I remember when we got married, one of my lecturers who really helped me a lot in the university. She's called Elma, a young lecturer, and the husband is a surgeon, consultant at Kolebu, and Elma is a biochemist. So initially, when they married, I mean, Emma goes there, and this man talking about surgery, ocular, lumbar, and these things. And Emma didn't understand what the man was saying. So she read that at least when the husband comes back from work, um, um, she should ask the man what really happened. And at least in that context, the man can break down the things to her small, small. And later on, she understood. So when we married, she gave us the advice that at least I'm a plant scientist. I already deal with plants, and my wife is an animal scientist. She also does with animals, only animals, chicken and that thing. So we are in the same house. So some of my terms are clearer to her, and some of it are clearer to me. I get that my focus is on plants, it's on animals. So at least there should be an amount of agreement in terms of the intelligence. But so much of disparity in difference of levels will worry the relationship. That's what I want to say about that. Maybe Pastor Godfrey can come in next week with other options.
Papa, I want to push you a little bit.
Okay, push
so me. I think the other dimension, perhaps, Vanessa wants to know is the context where, say, the woman is more educated than the man.
Okay.
So if they come into contact with somebody who holds a diploma, whilst you, the woman, you hold a master's degree, what's your take? Do you think it's a risk or it's workable? I think that's the other dimension she also wants to know, in addition to what you explained.
Oh, okay. If the disparity is so much, and in the context of marriage where the man is the head, if the man does not really understand or tries to abase himself, calm down, to create problems in the marriages. I have an example with Professor Zobofia in K University, and the husband had then only first degree, but the husband agreed that the woman is in academia, and he was going to push her, help her be at home at times, take care of the children. And Prof was sharing her story that when they were in the US, she was doing her PhD then, and the husband was just the one at home, taking care of the children, and she would go for class, and the husband was encouraging her. So unless it's that type of man who is willing that, oh, even though my wife is highly educated than me, I'm ready to support her and push her. But it should not be so much, the difference should not be so much as in maybe somebody with senior high school certificate and somebody with masters. That one, and then there may be conflict because he may not understand you. But if someone has first degree and the wife has PhD or masters, and the husband is willing to support the wife, the wife is also willing to submit to the husband. To me, it will not create problems. And even in my office, there is one lady there who is almost done with a PhD. The husband is having a diploma, now doing the degree. When I go home, I'm the wife, he is a man. When we come out, let's all work. We will support each other, and they are living peacefully. So it's the type of man you find, but it should not be so great a difference. That one will create problems. Thank you very much.
And if I may also add just a little line.
Okay, that's.
I think what hit you on the man, and what I want to add is that you, the woman, too, just like Pastor Solo ended, don't carry your PhD home.
Mhm.
You see, when you are home, you are a wife. You can be your doctor in the lab or in the classroom. I think sometimes the women who are more educated than their men, they forget it a little bit. And they carry that aura, intellectual aura, to the house and tend to question everything the husband proposes or says. And that brings tension into the marriage. So as much as the man would have to understand that this is my wife and I have to be supportive, the woman should also ensure that you don't carry all your distinguished scholastic dictionary aura everywhere around, everywhere, including your home. That's what I wanted to put. Thank you.
Thank you. I think somebody asked that, is it, if you have money, can you date a broke lady? Should you date a broke lady? Poverty or being broke is relative. I don't think somebody is broke to that level of, maybe the person may have some, but not enough. But I think the issue of money doesn't come in here much. It's about love. So if the person can love you, even if you don't have enough or you have enough, and love is a previous one, is the important thing. So broke is relative. Maybe I don't know how you see brokenness, but I mean, if she's even broke, as in not having enough, but is doing something to make ends meet, those ones are supposed to be encouraged. People are doing something, they are trying, they are moving on. When my wife introduced me to her aunt the first day, the aunt then had a standard, at least everybody coming to the house to marry. The auntie has 3 daughters. So plus my wife then, so now 4. At least the guy should have a first degree and should be working. For her, that is enough to her. But when I went to their house, I was in my master's, but I was not working. So now the woman has to now look at her standards and then now coming again. So they entered their room, had their meeting. Then I think what she told the daughter, my wife, was that if the person is not working, as in officially working, but is trying to move up and down to make ends meet, it means that that person has the potential that when he gets a job, he will work and work best. I think that advice the woman gave my wife saved her. Otherwise, she would have lost me. Okay, let's look at another question. I think it's time, so I'll look at another question here.
Yeah, there's one more question. Hello. Okay, so there's a question from JOM. There's a question from JOM. Says that as a well-to-do young man, how do you find your new partner? So you are rich, a young man, very, very rich. How does, yes.
as a well-to-do young man. Hello? Hello?
Please, we can hear
Hello,
you.
Pastor Solo, we
Yes,
can hear
as a
you.
well-to-do young man.
How do you find a genuine partner? Genuine partner. Somebody who will not just come into your life as a gold digger. but
How do you find I think that all that we have said together. Yes, so put all the things you pray into it. There are things you want to see in the woman you're talking about, and then as you pray into it, and then move with all this I have shared with you. I think that will help you. We are basing ours on Christian principles. That's why it's like this. But I think anybody who goes by this too will really enjoy the marriage. So JOM, look at the things we look for in a woman, go into it with prayerfully, with purpose, so that we have said today, and then it will work. Thank you. There's no question here now. If there are others, it can be sent to me. I think we've done enough for today. God will next week we'll continue with Papa Godfred, and then he will continue. Please, if I meet a lady for the first time and all of a sudden she is asking of money continuously, is it a good sign? Meet a lady for the first time and she's asking for money. Then I say more. Is she asking money because she wants the money, or she's asking money because she thinks you are dating her? I mean, all those things are Pastor says she's angry. If she's asking money and generally she's asking the money and you think you have the money, you can help, but it should not be because of the relationship. Those signs will show that this person I want to date with, if we should go a bit further, it's going to be demand. But if genuinely at that point she's broke and she wanted the money, fine. But it should not be a continuous thing. That one should not be. Thank you. I think all is done for now. So, Joshua, I hand over to you to continue. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks to everybody for your time. God bless.